because I forgot that we were counting down.
Hello?
Whoops! I got distracted, as I am prone to do. Welcome along, everybody, to the second episode of The Quiet Between, an offshoot of the Emberlight Saga, where our characters get together to tell a little bit more about the world that we are trying to hold on to. Whether those are big conversations, reflections on a mission, or a chance to explore a little of their own backstory or the world around them. The Quiet Between is a space to tell stories with very little dice rolling, all very heavy in terms of role play and narrative driven play. I'll preface The Quiet Between the way I do the mainstream on Mondays with the Emberlight Saga is a dark fantasy campaign that explores very heavy themes at times. Loss, the end of the world, horror, both sort of psychological and cosmic, grief and loss. If these are things that you're not necessarily comfortable with, then I would encourage you to check out any of the other D8 Dungeon content that we have out there over on YouTube or on most podcast platforms. And if you're like, yeah, all your stuff is weird, Declan, you just like to do weird emotional heart stuff, and I just want to hear people have fun and do heart stuff. I'm gonna, because I'm trying to like shout out other people, and just sorry, funnier than us, but just as chaotic as us. You should check out Homebrew Quest. Paul knows them that way. Paul knows them. Homebrew Quest are, again, they're on most podcast platforms and they're on YouTube. And they invented beer magic. And if you use it in your games, they will sue you. Ben is incredibly litigious. But yeah, so do check out Homebrew Quest. Tonight, in The Quiet Between, we are sitting down with Dax, Barrett, Fearon, and Serenity as the four having returned. And if you're sitting there going, hey, hang on a second, Dax is in another mission. How is he back at the guild? This takes place the night before the guild, the group set off for the Blue Pines Forest. So just in case you're wondering, and like, there's a weird timeline thing happening here. Shh, just don't think about it. It's fine. It's fine. But everybody good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll start. We'll dive into it. It wasn't exactly the mission. The King's Road, the Three Kings Bridge. None of it went to plan. It didn't go badly, but the mission itself, the request, it wasn't quite what it seemed. And for those of you more experienced, for those of you more familiar with the roads and the work, that doesn't surprise you. The reality of the world, the Kingdom of Phaeton, and the Lasting Dark is unpredictable. Much as how the roads shift and twist and the land and the rivers move. We have become accustomed to the work never quite fitting as neatly into the request as first expected or first hoped. And the bandits on Old King's Road wasn't any different. From your first steps into Silvermount and the incursion of Mantry's steel and their recruitment station to Fearon's confident but mistimed ambush. And ambush is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, because I don't think it counts as an ambush if you go charging in at them from up the top of a hill. But none of that really matters when you think about the stone-bound king. This corrupted, heaving mass of miasma, stone, statue, and flesh that rose out of the river and attempted to tear what was left of the bridge down. The four of you, three of you, jumped into action to try and put this to an end. And with the assistance of the bandits who you had been sent to deal with, you were able to stop this tainted creature from doing any further damage to a integral piece of infrastructure here on the road. The journey back to Varan was long. The roads, every step felt misplaced, every hour felt mistimed, and each of you focusing on a different aspect of the Stonebound King, of this creature. And that's actually where I'm going to start, because you have returned to Varan, you have made it back to the halls of the Emberlight Guild. You've even gone so far as to give your report, your version of events to the Mantle, or Owain, who logs the guild's adventures. But as each of you goes about the rest of your day with a promise to meet up in the evening for a bite to eat and something to drink, each of you has questions. But just as each of you wants to know something, you're all fixed on some aspect of the Stonebound King. And we're going to start with Dax. What is it about this monstrosity that you can't get out of your head?
I guess that I think Dax is very aware of the strength of it, the amount of corruption that had been affecting it. I think that was a surprise for Dax to see such a final stage of something like that fairly close and in a populated area, or like semi-populated kind of area. And then the other thing that he would be focusing on is the fact is that it washed away. He wasn't able to essentially try to cleanse it.
Okay. And by accident, Dax, you are the kind of one of the first people down into the guild's dining hall. You're not here on your own. Some of the other members are kind of sitting down with food. What's quite common is the berth that's given around your table. Like most people are happy to say hello. Most people will nod, smile, ask how you're faring. But very few choose to sit with you. Whether that bothers you, whether that's something you acknowledge, nobody's ever really asked you. But as you settle into a long table, waiting for the others, it doesn't take too long as Barrett kind of wanders into the dining hall. And same question, Barrett. What is it about the Stonebound King that you are fixated on?
Those showcase bounce. I those big heads of tail after what happens because the mix of best so every day. I have seen every day the best one in past battle war, but I never see that level of crops before, as I was very concerned as I noticed how that seemed low something others, but I'm not very sure how much she know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this moment, Bart, it's sort of a your stomach is leading you. You're not really because it's just you. Everybody, you know the way down to the dining hall, and what you haven't noticed, but Firen is kind of sitting there awkwardly, kind of just outside the dining hall in the forge, kind of just looking around, and as you sort of glide past, your stomach rumbling, the question on the why is there so much of this? Why was there so much of this corruption focused in this one space? Gradually shifts into Dax's reaction. Most people wouldn't throw themselves headfirst into this. Yeah, Serenity did as well, but only after Dax led the charge, and he led it without hesitation. And Firen, you look up just to catch Barrett kind of walking past. You haven't realized that this is where everybody. You're not meeting here. You're actually meeting in the dining hall. What's preoccupying their mind?
They have a lot of questions about what happened because they missed a lot of it. I imagine we caught up probably on the travel back, but probably mostly what is it? What did they fight? How could he have done better? How can he improve himself? Right? He's looking for that sort of validation more than anything that, he can do the right thing because he wants to be as brave and as heroic as the rest of the guild. And he's kind of a little self-conscious that maybe his actions didn't quite do that.
Okay. So it's the questions are what was it? Give me more detail, describe it to me better, that kind of. So and then it's I could have beat that. I could have, how would I have fought it? How would I have approached this?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dax is gonna love this. And I think in that moment, as Barrett kind of walks past you and you look up, you see Serenity just sort of slinking in from the corridor, just kind of effortlessly, not mindlessly, but that's sort of I'm here, I'm not paying anybody attention, and it's you get up and you kind of stand next to them as they start to make their way into the dining hall. Mm-hmm. And Zool, what's going through Serenity's mind?
Serenity is very disturbed that, and it just keeps playing in her mind over and over again, that somehow this was a person that got put into and meshed with and was evil, but It could have been one of us. If that was one of the people from Mantry Steel on the road the night before that we were following, if we hadn't turned back, or it could have been any one of us. It could have been Firin, who we were supposed to be watching out for. And was that person aware? Were they dead? Like, it's just so
Okay.
not what she expected. She can understand the maps changing and stuff, but this thing that they fought, this amalgamation really of like stone and person, has really disturbed her.
And as again, you take notice of Firin beside you, Serenity, kind of just moving into the dining hall, and there inside you see Barrett standing at the table, Dax set down at it, and the four of you take a seat. In this moment, a couple of the others, you recognize Omar and Finton, two of the other guild members. They're set with Reishi, and they were talking about the missing caravan and the journey that Reishi had been on. There was a small little spore owl sort of hopping from beam and banister. They welcome you back. They inquire as to the work. It's casual, but they're not looking for details. It's not. If they need it, they can read it in Oroyan's reports afterwards. It's more just, rest, catch your breath, tend to your flame. This idea. They leave, and the four of you are set in the dining hall alone.
I think Dax is going to be just looking at the table, kind of just knowing what's coming, kind of like a scorned child kind of thing.
Serenity is used to sitting with Dax. She has gone back to her comfort zone to try to find some grounding, and she found one of the books that were pulled out from the rubble. Doesn't say anything at first because she enjoys the quiet of Dax, and that normalcy of that is a little bit of solace.
Okay.
Perhaps just sit down. Yes, to Dax. Just Lord, to ask him, is this okay? And just sit down, because we know each other, that we can speak we need to. But at that moment, he just reflecting back to what happened all the way to bridge where I caught Buttercup memory flashback of the alcohol war. And it's just trying big, more like trying to find composure in himself, to find himself, because we this trigger on me to the wish. It have to say it's okay to try show is in control, because we are not alone. because we know people realize us to give that hope to keep going. That's why I try to keep composure and grounded in front of people. Some people are at downtime. You just sit down, quiet, listen, and but ready to talk to anyone.
Fearin?
So if Art is on one side of Dax, Fearon's going to sit on the other side of him.
Okay.
Um,
And Serenity's sitting across.
yeah,
Okay.
and he's going to put one arm around his shoulder and be like, "Hey, my man, my guy. I like from what I can tell, you really took control of that whole situation. Can you like, I don't know, can you maybe this is awkward, but I would really love, for you to teach me your ways if possible, because I have the determination, the skill, the intelligence to do all of those things, but I think I just need some guidance."
Well, you've made such an impression, Emma, that Paul's left.
I do not. I do. I have no doubt that he would.
He gets up and he walks away.
Yeah.
It's probably just a connection issue. But while we're waiting for Paul to reconnect, a halfling gentleman comes out of the kitchen, and he starts just setting out some plates and bowls, and he looks at the four of you, and he just kind of shakes his head and just tough out there, wasn't it? Oh, I can tell by the look at you. Well, Doris has cream soup on, so I'll bring out 4 bowls. And I think we've a little bit of bread left. So he...
Thank you.
He just nods to the 4 of you, and he brings over a small kind of 2 jugs, one filled with water, the other one filled with it's half filled with wine. He sets them on the table and he disappears into the kitchen, and the door kind of swings back and forth. And in that moment, you just kind of hear absolute nightmare. Look so wrecked. As the door opens and closes, just every second word is kind of slipping out, or every third word is slipping out. And there's a bit of a rattling going on in the kitchen as they begin to kind of plate up and dish up food. Dax is very characteristically quiet, and he's just tearing into a chunk of bread. What's Serenity doing? I know you were saying you were grounding yourself and kind of focusing, but
yeah. So hearing Fear asking questions and Dax being Dax, quiet and looking uncomfortable. You know, strength of heart, your bravery, and all of that. But I want to ask you, why do you think that you were sent out with? Why do you think that? And maybe we can talk about that.
Can you repeat that last bit again? Why do I think I was sent out? Was it?
Yeah. Why do you think that you were paired with more than one lantern warden for this particular job. As you know, at your newness, why do you think that you were paired with us?
Well, I signed up on the notices, and I think the other kindling couldn't go in the end, so that's why there was 3 lantern wardens. But yeah, I think it was for me to learn, for me to understand like how you guys think, you know, and what to do. I still don't know if I'm any of the better of it. I was knocked out for quite some time. Do I still have a concussion? It's hard to say. But yeah, I admire Dax's quiet leadership and his command of respect, and it's really just something I strive towards. I might talk too much for that to be my path, but I would like to understand that a little bit better. You know, like I charged in, I think valiantly. I think I really displayed good show of my courage, but he also charged in and won. So I'm trying to just figure out what he did differently.
Okay, so we decided as a group to scout out this position, and then we were going to review the information and go from there. So what was different about your position is we don't doubt your bravery, but
As you shouldn't.
we don't always charge in. So where I would say is that you need to run your ideas through your lantern warden or ember bearer first before you act on it. And that's where I can help you. I'm not I want to know exactly why, Dax, exactly why you chose that moment to charge in, and I'm sure you'll tell us eventually. But that's your story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I was just there to support you once things, you know, kicked off, Dax, and I'm sure that you would have done everything you could have.
Absolutely, yeah.
At that moment, because you have the heart to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, Paul. So, food actually in this moment that and he's I would say mid 50s fellow, short, stocky build. He's wearing a very clean apron. There's a splodge of what looks to be it may be jam, maybe wine. There's like a little red stain on the apron. He brings out a large tray, 4 bowls filled with piping hot cream soup. He puts one in front of each of you, and he puts out a small basket of it was fresh this morning bread, so it's gotten slightly tougher to the bite. And he just, well, you enjoy that now, and you rest yourselves up. And he goes back into the kitchen, and again, nope, still again every second word, nope, the look bad, and the door just stops swinging. Over to the 4 of you again. Everyone's just slowly slurping soup.
So Dax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Choosing to charge in, and when you did, it was successful, but I went to support you when I saw you go in, but I don't really understand what it is you do as a sin eater. I don't know what that is. I asked you and you said it was sin and you were charging in. I thought it was some sort of magic that somebody else had done once I saw the Mantry Steel logo on it, because that didn't belong on a statue. And you know, you should run into that. How did you know? And how did you know that that was a person in there, not some magic spell or something? How did you know?
Just before Dax answered, Fearon's going to lean on both his hands and go, "What on earth's a sin eater?"
The Sin Eaters are seen as something bad. We're seen as criminals because we were used to purge towns during the Civil War. But that wasn't correct. It was a story that kind of got passed around, and that's why every time people see my mark, they think that we're just murderers and killers. But the Sin Eaters were criminals, but we were put up against the Lasting Dark. And the thing that we were put up the most against was the Tainted. They were people. Like, it's not magic in the sense of it's something that's let in. It's something that infects you and slowly drives you to kill and to essentially just cause chaos. But the Stonebound King was like the last. It's like the strongest I've seen in a long time. Like, the Tainted never generally get that bad.
Are you going to end up like that?
Sadly, it's a possibility.
Well, that's not great, my guy.
No, but there'll be signs.
Does the guild know this?
Oren.
Do you want to tell us the signs?
Oren kind of knows, and the signs, will be that you'll start to see me essentially grow kind of, I guess, corruption on me. My form will change and I will take on some kind of mutations or something like that. It tends to happen slower for Sin Eaters. But it's because we're being put up against the Lasting Dark so many times that eventually we kind of succumb to it.
So what do we do when we see the signs? I'm starting to think maybe you're not the right mentor.
If I'm still me, it won't be a problem. I'll already deal with it. But if I'm not me, then the guild will have to deal with me. But
like, kill you?
Well, me and Oren haven't had that discussion, but more than likely.
That's heavy.
In the history of the Sin Eaters, though, there hasn't been a lot that have lasted as long as I have.
Good job.
So we find ways of dealing with it, and as long as I keep doing the things that I do, it shouldn't come to that.
Okay.
But
So that's how you knew how to defeat the Stonebound King, then?
I've only-
I knew the signs of that level.
Right.
It affected Barrett. It affected you.
Have you seen it? Wait, it affected Barrett? I didn't see that. What happened? Barrett, what happened? Do you want to talk about it?
Yes. What happens is that I was far away to the beach. I started to hear voice whispering to me. It, like, I can't see, but I hear voices. And it sounds like pain, scream, burst sounds. As we master of the battle that I merely survived. And he just keep coming up. But that moment when I look around, I thought I was in battle again. I see dead people. I see one kind that was in the same spot as me, died right in front of me, pulling me down. That's way I pull myself back together. But it's not first time because I was with Hampton for years, side by side, and he died in that last battle where cars turned back on us to me. If cars turn back on us, how can I see people? Because of that, Hampton died. That's why you see me carry Saga with me everywhere I go. I never use it because that is my Hampton dagger. Because Hampton told me that is from East West of Georgia. We become Hampton. I hope someday I will find East West of Georgia so I can give dagger to them to be closer. But I have no luck so far, so I keep walking on walls for a long time. And that's why you see sometimes shows as up that, but that's explained. And that's why you saw me toss water was Hampton at the Kansas point.
Mhm.
It's not easy to get out of it. Yeah, that is what happened to me.
I know. Sorry, I know. I asked, and I'm not asking you to roll dice or anything like that. But if you wouldn't mind, can everybody just check their passive perception for me? Take your time. There's no. I'd like to see how many of you.
12.
12. Not Fearon anyway. Fearon is gazing into Dax's tormented eyes.
Yeah, he's fascinated.
My passive perception is 13.
13. Okay. No, Barrett is lost in thought.
Yeah.
10.
Okay. Nope. Serenity?
For some reason, my audio on my phone. Okay, is there an echo for anyone else?
There is, yeah.
Okay, for some reason,
It's gas because there's the echo and there's the delay. And you
my
can hear.
is muted. I'm gonna drop out of my video and come back in and see if I can fix it.
Okay. I would argue like nobody has clocked this, like nobody has noticed, but for everybody else, so as Dax and Firen and Serenity listen to Barrett's tale, and your attention is drawn to the dagger and the story of the squad and the captain who fell, that the memories surfacing and bubbling up, whether there's correlation between proximity to the lasting dark or whether it is post-traumatic, it's not clear. But the dagger itself, it's quite simple looking, but Dax, you'd recognize it as well. It carries the old Royal Army's sigil, which was a shield with two sort of wings wrapped around it, and it's well maintained. At least the hilt, the hilt and scabbard that you can see, Barrett seems to mind them. Serenity, what is your passive perception?
16.
Okay, you notice. Woo, thank God someone notices it. Doris is a dwarven woman. She's one of the cooks. She's the main cook in the Emberlight Guild. On being told that there's four of you back, you're all inside chatting about something. She's incredibly nosy. Curious. Sorry, she's incredibly curious. She has slipped out. She's near the bar, kind of there's a long shelf and counter, and she's standing there. Now she's not on top of you. Like there's about 20-25 feet from the door to the kitchen, where she's propped herself up against a stool, and she has a dishcloth and she has a glass, and she's just cleaning it. But she's been cleaning the same glass the entire time Barrett was talking. She's just listening to the stories being told. Again, as you look up and you see her, Barrett slides the dagger off the table and puts it back on his belt, and it's the four of you again. And there is just there's a silence that kind of hangs in the air a little bit.
She was really there, or does she disappear when the
Nope.
when the dagger goes?
No, she's just eavesdropping.
Dagger goes off. Do I know her?
Yeah, she's Doris. She's the
Okay,
cook.
she's eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I catch her eye when I look up at her?
She's not staring at you. Like she's just standing in the corner cleaning glasses.
Okay. I'm going to lean in a little close to everybody and say, I know some of this might be quite personal, It's hard to find a place to talk here in the guild. Sometimes people hear us without even, you hear people talking without even really meaning to, and you start listening to their stories. And so if there's anything super personal you don't want to say, I do understand. We are in a really public place.
I guess.
And I look at everybody. Does anybody else then start looking around and notice anybody?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
I think at Zul's mention, you all kind of turn to look, and immediately Doris turns her back and is now kind of putting some of the wine glasses up onto a shelf. She's just kind of hanging them up.
Was it her?
Ooh, okay. All right.
But yeah, I think a lot of this needs to be known by the guild, and I think Oren is cataloging a lot of it. But that thing was the strongest version that there is. There is less versions, and the signs are essentially just the first stage is essentially just black veins. They also seem confused and lost. They're also stronger than the normal person would be. The next stage is worse, and then the final stage is the one that you saw. And this creature has weird effects on things, but its aura is essentially something that has been affected by the darkness for so long can see. So that's why I knew it was there.
Okay. I was so focused on the fact that I saw that mantry steel. Okay. I was so focused on the fact that I saw that mantry steel shield, and I don't really understand magic, that I thought that's what it was. I thought that maybe they had some enchanted shield that caused the statue to go berserk and tear down the bridge, and so it really kind of threw me for a loop. Like it, even when I was stabbing it and prying at that breastplate to get it off, there was like rotten whatever flesh, corrupted flesh underneath. I mean, I almost barfed right there. But I still didn't get it. But at least now I'll know. I mean, I thought, hey, those people disappeared the night before. Okay, that's really disturbing. But this was a new level for me. And so close to a town. It's like I wasn't expecting that. I'm hoping we can find some sort of pattern to what's going on here. Maybe I'll talk to Yanara sometime about that. If we can look at patterns. But I'll keep an eye out for you, Dax. As far as I've seen, you've only done good. The whole time you're here.
Right.
So, you too, Barrett. I know you might get a little confused sometimes, but I trust you.
Yes, I trust you all too.
You had our back.
That's right.
And Fearin?
Yeah.
well, not necessarily elders in age, but you've got what it takes.
Thank you.
Is there anything anybody else wants to do at this point?
That's Barbas. I was say. Barbas was say. I want to show you about what happened in the past, so you can also understand what I'm telling with. But you can trust me as I trust you all because I see what you guys do. I trust you to have my back as and you will have my back. So I say I will have your back. Okay.
Thanks, Bert. I feel like we definitely all trauma bonded through this, and I think we'll be friends for a long time. So I really appreciate you saying that. It's good to know that you guys have my back, and I will always have yours too.
There's just a clearing of the of a throat as Doris, the cook, just kind of nods to the bowls. Just some of us want to get home, before dawn. So if you're finished, and she sort of shuffles over, and before anyone has a chance to kind of answer, she's putting bowls into a tub. If you were holding it, she's yanking it. If you were slurping on a spoon, she's pulling it out of your mouth. And she's dropping it all into kind of there's a little bit of water in it. Good night then. And she just sort of deftly stomps towards the kitchen carrying the crockery. She's left the little basket with bread if anybody is picking at it, but the kitchen is closed. And as the four of you kind of begin to get up, rise to your seats one after the other, all together, whatever formation you leave, you decide to leave the dining hall. There's a moment, having shared, having carried each other's burden a little bit, having listened and having been heard, that weariness from the road, that fraying on the edges of your sense of self, that dimming of your light fades away. You feel you are still bloody exhausted. You are still in need of a long soak in a tub, but your heart feels a little lighter. And it's Barrett's words that kind of ring through for each of you. This is whether you joined the Emberlight by accident, whether you joined the Emberlight for adventure, whether you're here 10 years, whether you're here 10 months. This companionship, this support, this is what sees you through. This is what carries you on the road and when you return. And you are all able to just let go of that tension, those questions you had on the way in, pressing the back of your mind. The image of the stone-bound king is there, but what's louder, what's clearer is the image of your companions charging into battle, standing shoulder to shoulder with you. Claw, sword, arrow, unconsciousness, each of you doing your part, each of you lifting each other up, you can each clear a point of fraying. Now, again, I say each of you. I will clear it for you because I'm tracking it myself, but I will clear a point of fraying for all of you. But Tonya, I want you to take a point of inspiration, please.
Take it.
So, and as the four of you head to your head, whether you stay in the guild or whether you have your own quarters outside in the city of Varan, the night draws in around you and sleep finds you. But the city of Varan is not ready to slumber. And in another part, down a road not too far from the guild, we see a group of friends getting together in the Grand Adventure, the tavern owned by Diego and his family. Inside, they gather with intent and purpose to tell the tale of Malin Rowe, the former hearth of the Emberlight Guild. And in the second half of The Quiet Between, we'll be joined by those players and those characters to learn a little bit more about who Malin was, what her legacy or her impact in the guild was like, and just what future awaits the guild and the kingdom of Phaeton. Before we go to our break, very big thank you to Paul, who is coming back. Paul just won't leave. Paul is just constantly in the chat now, and I have to put him to everything. So, but a big thank you to Paul, Tony, Emma, and Zul for helping us add another shade and dimension to the world of the Emberlight Saga. We're going to go to a break. It's a perfect chance for you to grab a drink, go for a stretch. We will see you back here it's gone 9:05. We'll see you back here by 9:15. While I frantically go and try and tell the players how to play this system. We're back in 10. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank God it's actually working, because I was frightened for a second. I was like, I haven't had a VTT before, but it's there. Welcome back. Sorry, there was a little bit of tech stuff, and unfortunately we have had to say goodnight to Paul due to internet issues. It was proven quite difficult for them to be on stream, so Paul has stepped away, and we are we're still, I hope, looking forward to this. I'm gonna give we're gonna do a little bit of scene setting, but before I kind of dive into it, the first thing I want to do is I want to tell you who the system we're playing. So we're playing a system called We Have Lost. It's a GM-less story game by Donna McCarthy. It was first published in the Codex Leviathan September 2020 issue. You can catch it. You can get it online. I love it, especially if you're looking forward to if you're looking for a story to play when not all your players can make the table and you want to do some world building. I think this makes for a really nice sort of different session, or even potentially a world building session, if it might work. The premise, so I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to explain that we're changing it slightly. You are all members of the Empress's bodyguard, her constant companions. She is dead, and you have a chance to remember her as you were when she was alive. Tell tales of her rise and eventual fall before discovering the fate of her empire. Now, Maylin Rowe was not an empress. So what we're doing is I'm taking the concept from We Have Lost, and we're applying it to our former hearth, Maylin Rowe. And tonight, four. There's four of us. I feel like there's four. There's four. Because I was like, there's another.
You're part of the party too, Declan.
It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know what to do. Four of her closest friends have gathered in the grand adventure to honor their friend on what would be her 64th birthday. And this is where we start. Inside the mead-soaked, smoky den of the Grand Adventure, four people who haven't seen each other for quite some time gather, as they always have on this night, to honor the woman that brought them all together. And though the fifth chair is empty, nevertheless, a cup of white wine is poured for Maylin Rowe. And we see an older gentleman, probably in his mid to late 60s, half orc with sort of grey, rusty hair. It's slicked back into a long braid that spills over a heavy navy and swamp green coat with a brown fur collar and cuffs. He takes it off, he folds it very, very neatly, and he lays it on the bench next to him. He sits down with kind of a sigh, and he reaches for the silver cup. He taps it, and then he slides into the bench, and he does so with sort of a groan. There are scars up and down his arms. There is a deep scar cut into his jaw. He has a very short, tidy, sharp beard. This yellow tanned skin and just deep, deep green eyes. Tusks protrude from the bottom of his mouth, and he reaches for the bottle and he pours himself a glass of wine. And as the others enter, all of you notice Dullahan. He has drinks on the table and he gestures for you to come join him. And before we delve into our story, we're going to get a chance to meet our group. So, Kate, can you tell us a little bit about who you are playing?
Tonight I'll be playing Charlotte the Frail. She is a Goliath who is roughly 8 feet tall, heavily muscled, and seems to have run very closely to the giant side of her lineage. Her head is very smooth and perfect, as if marble. And though she does have a few chips here and there, she is largely unblemished. She wears a simple dress and a circlet around her head that sits low and is made of plain bronze. Yes.
Soph?
Hey, hi. Tonight I'll be playing Desdemona the Garish. She is a tiefling lady in probably her mid-60s, a couple of years older than Malin. She has pale, like white alabaster skin, very quite severe, asymmetric bob. It's light grey in colour, and she's wearing the most garish outfit you've seen. There's a lot of scarves, jewelry, and different layerings of skirts with patterns that are mismatched, heels that should be painfully high to walk in, and the ugliest hat that you've ever seen. It's big, there's loads of feathers, flowers, everything on it, but this is a hat you have seen her wear to every single event since she was probably in her mid-30s. She walks in, she has way too much blusher on, but it's put on in a way that still is a striking contrast to her appearance. There's too much eye makeup, there's too much of everything. But she waltzes in, blows a puff of her cigarette, and carefully leans down and kisses the glass left for Malin. Happy birthday, darling. And she sits down and pours herself a glass of wine.
And Aaron?
Hi, well, tonight I am playing Tilo the Messy. So Tilo is a lizard folk, and he is green-skinned, long talons, and he is dressed, he's quite small, so he's about 5 feet tall, so he's not quite a tall lizard folk, but he is tall enough, and he's wearing kind of like, if you imagine a pirate's kind of outfit, like a swashbuckler kind of outfit. So he has like a little pirate hat on, and he has like a white kind of tunic on that has laced up the front there, and some kind of black pants, up to his knees. His very best clothes he owns. And he walks in. Oh, we're back. Pretty sad to be here, but I'm happy to see you all still around.
Dullahan.
And yourself? I'm looking well.
Oh, thank you. My very best today.
Dullahan just kind of picks up his glass, and he raises it to the rest of you as he gives kind of a half smile, Tilo, as you mention, nobody has said it, but this is the closest we've come to the fact that there is an extra cup, an extra chair, and there is no one to sit in it. I guess it's the nature of getting old then.
No, don't remind us.
Even the most beautiful of us get chips.
Yes, the light snuffs out for us all eventually.
That's
Charlotte,
awfully grim.
that might be the case for myself and Tilo, but neither you nor Desdemona look a day older than 30. And he
You
smiles.
flatter me.
You're a flirt, Dullahan, and you always have been.
Oh, let him.
A flirt, yes, but I always tell the truth.
That's the best eponym ever.
Excuse me?
As the four, as we take our seats and take our drink, there's a moment where kind of just a silence hangs in the air, and Dullahan kind of just, to nobody, but kind of just to the space that we're in. Remind me, if I can ask, how did you all meet Malin? I can't quite. I mean, I know how I met her, but I can't quite. And he's trying to. You see him kind of scanning, and as he's doing this, as he's trying to recall, rather uncharacteristically, of course, I found myself in a spot of bother.
Oh.
I had a sum of money placed on my head, and I had rather deftly given most of the hunters the slip, like a fox. And again, he just at this point he just elbows you, Tilo, like he's just like it's not even a gentle nudge; it's a full on like
Soft sides.
Oh, I beg your pardon. But it was Malin. It was Malin who managed to fully throw them off my scent, if it were. I had thought she had come to claim my head. Yet it was my heart she took with her. Figuratively, of course. And
I wouldn't put it past her.
I don't think there's much we could have put past the old girl. Formidable. She was. What about you, Charlotte? Do you remember how you came?
It's embarrassing, but when I was a child, I had a fissure from the back of my head down my spine all the way around to, well, my belly button or such like. And I was bedridden, and my father, who never gave up on anything, he hired every stonemason he could find to patch me up somehow. But he heard that there was this woman in Varan who could heal. And everyone told him he was mad because no normal person heals a person made of stone, but she did. And I stayed with her for months while she worked on me, and she taught me to read, and that's where everything began. But that's very... Maybe we can move on. How did you hear about her? I'm sorry.
Desdemona?
Well, I guess you could say it was something quite similar, I guess, a fissure, but not in myself, in her dress. I recently only opened my tailoring shop in Varan, and she was actually my first customer. She came in, I can't quite remember the circumstances, but she had torn her dress a lot and needed it repaired. She was going to a party or something later on. I think I did a well job. I don't know how much she actually liked it herself. But we got talking and eventually kind of saw each other again in bars and that sort of thing, and just kind of became fast friends after that.
That is charming and very you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I must have done somewhat of a good job, or she wouldn't have had me repairing any of the guild's things through the years after that. We were probably in our early 20s when we met.
May I ask, was it the blue dress?
I think so, actually, now that you mention it.
I think I remember that one when she wore. She wore it to an occasion, and it got ripped. Maybe it's the day I met her. I was out. Yes, I think it was. I was out on the swamps up for us, and I was patrolling, and then I heard this scream, this yelp from the distance, and I went to investigate, and there was this group of wolves, I think, and they were chasing this woman who was running, and she fell, and I just took to action, and I notched an arrow, and I started to shoot, and a warning shot, of course. I don't like to kill animals, but she was in distress, and and it was I saved her, and it was Malin, and we got talking, and she was kind to me, being being from a swamp. It can be many people don't like me, but she was kind to me, and she was a sweet soul. But yes, I think it was the blue dress.
Excessively kind.
Yeah, I think it was the blue dress.
Very similar circumstances. You save her, I save her dress. That puts us much on the same level.
And Dullahan kind of turns his head. So Tilo saved her. Desdemona saved her dress. But Malin saved Charlotte and I. In different ways, of course. But I think that was... And he gets a little teary-eyed. This is the mechanic of the game. As somebody shares a memory, you as a player get to decide whether you resonate positively or negatively. Do you enjoy or like or feel or love that memory fits the version of Malin that you have of her, or do you scorn it? Do you feel it misrepresents something? And you can pass one of the, you can see little colored stones on our VTT. So each of the players is able to pass one of those each time we ask a question of the group. So you should be able to click them if you have Albert. Now, if you can't and you want me to pass them over, I can pass them over. But if you want to, you don't have to each memory, but if you wanted to pass one of those, Dullahan is the axe, if I'm correct. And he's going to. Are we just passing red to each other again?
That appears
I think
to be
so,
what's
because I
happening.
was just about to throw a red over the Tilo, who I'm assuming is the shield.
This is gone. Great.
Wow.
We've done
All right,
great
we've
work.
achieved parity.
Yes, we did it, guys.
We
I
might
think
as well have just left everything.
I think the stories are so
Perfectly
similar.
But there's a couple of things that have emerged about Malin, and I will keep track. But if anybody wants them themselves, we've established that Malin had a healing ability, quite a powerful one. She was quite an adept healer. We've also understood that she is quite the talker. She's quite a smooth talker. She was able to manage to convince bounty hunters and indeed the people who put the bounty out on Dullahan to not kill him. So we've established that. We've also established that she has a taste in in fashion. She seems to enjoy. And we've also learned that she may not have been the most accomplished of fighters. So she might not have been, so if she wasn't able to hold herself, scary enough space, but out on the swamps. So we've established these little bits and pieces about her. As we move through the game, it is just questions, and we don't always. Not everybody always has to answer. If you don't feel it's appropriate, if you don't feel like you have anything to go for it, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be a everybody jumps in. But I'm going to go to the next one, and if anybody wants to take it, just jump into it straight away. But the next one is tell us a time when she knew of your valor or loyalty.
Once, and this is something that I am not proud of, but maybe I should be a little bit proud. I think she was proud. She took me to do some bureaucratic errand or something, and I was a child. I was 15, so of course I knew everything there was to know. And she took me to these meetings that those other people that worked for her in the guild, one of those should have done it, and there was no reason for her to be out, but she took me to them, and they were all bad. They were bad deals and bad faith. And I was sitting next to her, and I was trying to get her attention at one of these meetings, that probably the first one, and she asked me if I had something to say, and I took all the parchments off the table and I threw them back at the guild honcho or whoever it was that we were dealing with, and I said, the math is wrong, the deal is bad, and I don't think you'll deliver. And she moved into a mode where she smoothed it over. And coming out of it, we got a good deal that was right. And I had expected to have to do it myself, that this would take weeks. And she just took this stupid little girl's input and made it into something that the guildmaster could not ignore, but wasn't angry about. I don't know what that was. I'll still throw parchment back in someone's face. But she did something that is not magic, but seemed like it. I know, I'm sorry.
Dullahan just nods along. No, it was magic, Charlotte. But it was Malin's magic. You're right. She always had a way of seeing the talent, the gift, the light inside people.
She always talked about the light, didn't she?
She was like a moth. And again, he cheers to that. You'll notice as Charlotte was telling that tale, I slid a red stone over. We don't always have to communicate. It can just happen. It can be a very quiet acknowledgement of something. But before we go any further, and if anybody else wants to join in and tell a tale there's something that I actually skipped over, and we we do need to kind of get into this. This is something that you don't have to tell me which you choose, but you do have to tell me whether it is again a positive or negative, and I'm going to give you a stone, an extra stone. Okay, so you decide secretly what this is, and you only reveal it during the tale. Okay, so it should come up at some point. What dark secret did you hide from Malin or the other people around the table? So it doesn't have to be her; it could be us. Maybe Malin knew. Take a red stone. So if you like the idea of the secret, take a red stone if you are ashamed of the secret, or a black stone if it would mean your death. Again, you don't have to tell me. I'll read you the 3 options and then just tell me whether you want red or black. What heirloom of Malin's do you covet? So take a red stone if it was something she promised you, or a black stone if it was promised to somebody else. And what grudge does the guild, the Emberlight Guild, and in this case that would be the council, so Valara and Orowine, what grudge do they hold against you? Take a red stone if that grudge is unjust, or a black stone if it is if they are correct in their estimation. So again, don't tell me which of those 3 things you're taking. You only take one. So the secret, the heirloom, or the grudge. But you can tell me whether you want red or black. Okay, and I'll put it to the left of your character icon so we know that's, and it's not special, but it's your extra one. So for example, Dullahan is taking an extra black one. So I'm just going to put this down here. Anybody know whether they want an extra red or black?
Can you please explain the dark secret versions again?
Of course I can. So what dark secret did you hide from, the game says Empress, but Malin, or from each other? Take a red stone if you are ashamed of the secret. So if it's something that you carry with a severe amount of guilt, or a black stone if it would mean your death. This would kill you if it came out. Literally kill you. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Albert. Whatever. Soph, red or black?
I'll take red, please.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just pop it up here, so it's the one just gone to the right of your mask. Kate.
I'm going to take black.
Okay. And I'm gonna pop that up there. And Aaron.
I will take a red.
Okay. I get it. It's just like a weird version of Countdown that we're playing. It's just every time.
Can I get a constant and a vowel?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't got those ready. Okay. With that in mind, as Charlotte tells this tale of Malin kind of pushing her to be part of something, does anybody else want to share in that memory of Malin recognizing your valor or your loyalty?
Yes, Desdemona takes a sip of her wine and she's like, I think she could always see people's good qualities. Soon after she became Hearth for the first time, I think it was a particularly bad mission. I think it was the first one where there was actually loss of life, and it was one that she had sent out a group of people on. I had recently quasi-joined the guild in terms of repairing and making garments for the guild members, and she came to me and broke down about it. I think she felt a lot of weight of that loss, and it was the first time I'd seen her be so vulnerable. And at first I was quite shocked because I was like, why are you telling me this? I think I assumed she thought I was more of a gossip. But I think deep down maybe she knew that I was someone, she could trust and kind of be that vulnerable and emotional with. We sat and we talked, and I tried to let her know that it wasn't, her fault, and it's quite a difficult role she has found herself in. And I think it helped. And from then she would come and talk to me in terms of when she was struggling with decisions she had to make, not looking for answers, but just more of that emotional support, I guess. But I don't think things got easier for her. It's always good to be able to offload sometimes. But anything that kind of was spoken about between me, her, and the sewing machine was kind of stayed there. I don't think she was quite as strong always as people assumed she was.
Dullahan bites his lip.
I guess that not everyone can be that strong all the time.
No, and in a way I think it showed a softness and a sensitivity to her, which I think in her role sometimes that, she couldn't show, but she did. She was always warm and welcoming to everyone in the guild. But I think she didn't really want to burden everyone else with her emotions at times.
Can anyone tell us of a time Malin stood beside you after a disaster, after you caused a problem?
Oh, that's a quite an easy one. It was that fire of was it 20 years ago now? Oh God. Oh, sometimes I forget my tail is there, and sometimes it just hits off those damn candles in the church. Oh, we were just I was seeking out Malin at the time, and she was at the church talking to maybe someone from the Emberlight Guild. I don't quite remember, but we were there, and I found her, and there was quite a rush because we had discussed a plan to find the flower of the moon in the swamps, as it was needed for a potion that some people were falling ill in a nearby village. So I rushed in, and I was because I found it, and I was delighted, and I was chuffed with myself. And in my haste, I ran past a bunch of candles, and next thing I know, the carpet, the walls, the tapestries are all alight, and it was my fault. But then, of course, Malin took me outside, and she said, everyone was looking at me and blaming me and saying it was all my fault. But Malin was like, calm those people down, and saying this, it was an accident. It wasn't meant. It was something that, could happen. It could be anyone, maybe maybe my tail was the issue, but, she was able to tell people and not people to blame me because, that small, that giant tail of mine can get me in such disastrous situations. But she was kind, as always very kind to me, and very forgiving, and she always thought the best in people, and always looked for the inner light. And even though not everyone would agree with me and her when she sought out me for advice, not everyone agreed, but I helped where I could, as she would have done for me, as she did for me in the past.
I think it's about time I confessed something, Tilo. That moonflower thing, that was actually... I had gone to the Emberlight Guild. I'd come across an old recipe book, and I thought I'd stumbled onto a new healing potion. Something that would just... Well, it had knocked 7 sheets of the wind off your shite, and just lift lift you. So I went to Malin when she was in the guild and she was doing the hearth business, and I sold her on the Moonflower, and she sent yourself and a handful of the others out, I guess, and you brought it back. But the Moonflower, it wasn't a cure-all. I mean, it has medicinal properties, certainly, but none that the guild or any real healer would sanction, I reckon. And Dullahan kind of goes bright red. No, I don't trade in drugs
No.
anymore.
But my question then, was Malin aware of this? That it wasn't.
She was, after we had let the sample run its course,
Oh, that's not-
and so too did the church. But
Uh,
she stood next to me. It was an honest mistake. It was an honest
Of
mistake.
course. Of course.
Is it really?
And he smiles at you, Charlotte. Like he just gives you like kind of course it was. Tell us a moment. Actually, no. We'll do this one instead because you can just pick. You can pick, and I've also made up. There's a bunch on the sheet, but I've made up a couple as well. Tell us a moment where Malin saw through you, whether you wanted her to or not. Do you want to go?
We were working on some project, some assembly of something. I can't remember what it was. I know I was doing some maths for her and she was making something happen. But I got it wrong. I made a small but very significant mistake. And I thought that, well, she left the room for a moment. And I thought that I could just fix it in the model and everything would be fine. And I tried. And it looked okay. And she came into the room with a mug of tea, one for her and one for me. And she looked at me and she told me what had happened. She asked me what had happened. And I said nothing because I was really very sure that the real life correction had been successful. And she said, no, I can tell it's wrong from here. And of course, my degree of awe was increased, but I had to explain to her what happened and, more importantly, why I had lied about it. That was the hard part, trying to tell her why I lied to her when she had never given me reason to. It was an unpleasant day.
We know each other quite a long time. There were few between us who could really see through to the heart of something the way Malin could. I don't think, even though she saw our failings, and I have my fair share, I don't think it ever really changed the way she saw any of us. At least for me. I don't particularly like telling or thinking about this, but I went to Malin after I'd gone out with a group of mercenaries. Mercenaries is the wrong word. Tomb Raiders. One of my friends had learned of a passageway into the royal vaults.
Oh.
It's closed now.
Oh.
Malin saw to that. I left them there. All of them. Nobody else got out. They stood to fight. And I ran. And she knew. We talked about everything. And I didn't tell her that. But she knew. And Dylan just goes quiet. Another question?
And now I thought that I had my issues with her, that she was able to read me like a book. That was quite intense. No, I was going to tell a tale of the time when I told her she looked lovely, and I, in fact, thought she looked absolutely heinous, but it was more that I was just jealous. And I think she could tell, but went out in it anyway. And then for my birthday, a few months later, she got me this hat. And she knew it was the most horrendous thing that anyone has ever seen in their life. But I wore it, and I think it embarrassed her more than it embarrassed me. And then I vowed, well, since then, I'm going to wear it to every single occasion that we go on. Every single birthday, every single wedding, funeral, you name it. And I made it my entire identity. And I think she found humor in that, so that's why I made sure I wore it tonight for the occasion. You're welcome, darling. And she kind of gestures towards the empty seat. But yes, I didn't leave anyone sealed off in a tomb. But I did lie to her about her fashion.
Honestly, against both of those, I feel very childish.
It's just nice to get it off my chest, really.
Above the table, I've just revealed I left 7 men to die. So I didn't like her dress.
God, I was gonna say it before you spoke, and then you spoke and told this tale. And I'm like, oh god, that's
the emotional
harrowing.
whiplash. I was like, oh, this is really sad. It's like, but I hated her dress, and now I wear this ugly hat.
It does feel very Malin. It's the dealing with this crippling weight that she carried as hearth in the way Charlotte and Dullahan exposed themselves, and then on the flip of it, all this light and this silliness carries. It was lovely.
The hat is my penance.
And you wear it well.
I know, darling. Thank you.
And Dullahan lets out kind of a laugh. Speak of a lesson Malin tried to teach you, but it only makes sense now, since the month of her passing.
Our maiden was such a kind soul. She always, she's always said to always look for the light in people. Always look for what you cannot see. Those things that don't surface until, it's too late, or until those people let you in and they let you see those things. But I always took people for, face value. What I saw on people is what I got. What they showed me is who they are, but not necessarily true. These stories that we have told here tonight have really opened my eyes to who you already are, for the most part. But she was right in the fact that, I shouldn't judge people on who they present. We all wear masks, and I should always look deeper. And you carry that weight with you the whole time, Doolan. That must have weighed you down such a huge amount, and that you spoke to your best friend all the time, and not once did you mention that tragedy. And then, Desdemona, you never mentioned your hatred of your hat to her, even though you.
Oh no, I don't hate it now, darling. At the time, I was more just yes. Now it's part of me.
Yes. But that was something I did not know until tonight, that you disliked the hat at the start, but now you do.
I think it's just I associate it so much with her now. It's becoming that running, joke between us. She got it as a joke, and it was quite clearly, obviously, it was a joke, and just embracing it almost made it more funny for her and me.
And it itself is one of those, let's call it a lesson, that she taught, because the glory of the hat is ever blooming. And I don't know, she taught me a lot. It doesn't matter.
Malin Rowe was hearth twice in the Emberlight Guild. She took her position first at the age of 29-30. She left it after 3 years. She would return to the Emberlight Guild roughly 10 years later, and she would immediately step into the role of hearth once again. Why did she leave the first time? And I'm just going to tell the three of you now that I am not answering that.
I don't know if this is true or false, or if it's factual or not. But she came to me one evening, distressed and distraught about a decision she had to make as hearth that she did not agree with. She wouldn't tell me what it was. Maybe she didn't want me to know. But she felt it was the wrong one. But she didn't want to go against the others at the time. Which is why I think she also went back, because she grew in strength and grew in her own confidence in the end. Was able to stand up to the council. But my advice to her at the time was, if she's not happy, leave. Leave and go find your happiness elsewhere. And I don't know if it was me and what I told her that made her leave, or if it's some other thing. But a week or two later, she was no longer that hurt. She was traveling around different parts of the country on an adventure.
That's interesting to hear, actually, especially encouraging her to follow her heart. I could see that her position was weighing on her a little bit, and I was also getting the signs from her that there may be something else distracting her from her duties within the guild. I don't know who that person was. She never really spoke about them or give me any of the gory details. But I think a part of her felt that she couldn't be with someone fully while still being within the guild. I think she felt that she had to dedicate her whole self to that. But if you're right in saying that there was a decision she felt she couldn't agree with or felt uncomfortable, maybe that was what kind of pushed her to maybe follow her heart instead for a while. We lost contact for a bit after that. I can only imagine what maybe she could have been doing with her life at that time. That was only then when she decided to take up the position of hearth again. I never told her, but I was kind of strongly against that. I honestly felt maybe it wasn't the right choice for her, and she should, settle down, live a little. I thought the position would take its toll on anybody. I feel bad about that. She was so well suited to the role. I can't imagine anyone else having done it. Not the way she did. But I went about my ways to try and make sure things were different. Try to get someone else elected instead, and obviously it didn't turn out that way. But I often wondered who that person was that I felt that her heart may have belonged to. It may have lit her flame a little bit more than the guild at the time, but I never found out.
Lit her flame more. I have no idea why she left. She never told me. She just came to see me late at night with an armful of work and told me to get on with it. And I was happy to. I wanted to do the work, but I craved her approval. I needed her to see. I needed her to tell me if I was making progress, even though I could see it myself or not. And I hate her for leaving.
Don't you think that maybe her bringing that work to you shows her confidence in your ability to perform it well? I don't think she would have trusted someone with work like that she didn't think was up to it.
I don't think she ever disrespected my capability. But there was something else about being a person that she disrespected by not even telling me goodbye.
Dullahan reaches out for your hand, Charlotte, just like not to hold it, but just to kind of put his hand on top of yours and just give it kind of a, just, it's just that sort of acknowledgement. There's something to be said standing next to a light as bright as Malin. We see the shine from her and we lose sight of our own. But I think we can all agree that Malin saw all of our own worth. And I agree with Desdemona, Charlotte. She spoke so highly of you. Next question. Recount a tale the Empress would tell about another player at the table to you. And Dullahan, again, still holding your hand. Sorry, Charlotte, still holding your hand. Can I get what does Charlotte do now? Like what was she doing? Like, is she a fighter? Is
She
she
was-
a smith?
She's a scholar.
A scholar, okay. We're all among friends. So, in the spirit of sharing, I think it's only right that I tell you, Charlotte, just a story about you. Which I know might seem strange, but it's one Malin. Malin recounted, well, when she had one too many, and then he tips his glass against hers. She was a bit of a divil for the vine, but a couple of years back, I was looking for some documents. I was looking to get my hands on some papers for some friends of mine that needed passage. They were moving, and we all remember the time after the Civil War and the unrest and the upheaval and the fact that there was talk of city-states and dividing up the land. I was worried for my people. And I went to Malin and I asked her, could she procure the documents I needed? Could she find a way, a means, sincere or forged? And he kind of looks around the table to help these people. And it was you, Charlotte. And I don't think you ever actually realized it. You, and he just, he taps his head, and that brain inside that thick skull of yours.
That's fair.
Whatever papers, whatever document you dug out of a trunk, a library, real or not, it wasn't just papers to get these people across the land, across Phaeton safely. It's what Malin would go on to use to argue against the city-states. And she might not have said your name in every council meeting. She might not have spoken your name loudly when she stood in front of the Anne Willem Consortium or the Haverfield Merchants Council. But if you hadn't the smarts, if you hadn't the ways about you, well, she'd probably have roped me in, and in that case, I'd have had to undig some serious skeletons out of my closet to be able to do the work that she needed to do. But she found a way. She found a meaningful, legal. And he kind of looks. He's kind of uncertain whether it's legal or not.
It was legal enough, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, Malin found
We'll say that. Yes, just drink up.
it's legal. He says it
agree.
out loud. It was very legal. But she, every letter, every book, every half-faded piece of no, with the scrolls, all right, we used to play a guess of what's that supposed to look like. But everything you sent her, she kept. It's probably still up in that attica there, is in the guild hall.
It should probably be retrieved.
He's starting top secret, and you see kind of the cogs start to turn in his head.
Oh
For
no,
the
you've given him an
archives.
idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't think Malin would want you to doubt your own abilities.
No. She would not.
I don't think she'd expect me to. Thank you. I'm sorry. A little distraction.
Desdemona just kind of flaps about her outfit a little bit, and kind of from underneath one of her fur coils, she like pulls out like this very heavily embroidered handkerchief. It's more embroidery than handkerchief, and just kind of passes it over to Charlotte. Well, actually starts dabbing her eyes for her.
Perfect. Yeah, I thank you. I think you've got it all. Thank you. It's a beautiful handkerchief.
Oh, there's
I
one
got
more.
to see it up close. Thank you.
I'm going to ask one last question, and again, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. If you want to just sit and listen, you're more than welcome to. But I want to. Yeah, I think I'll end on this one. Tell us of something Malin worried about, but rarely admitted out loud.
I think Malin, Charlotte, could probably relate to you a lot. I think, though it didn't seem like it, I think she often worried that she wasn't enough. I think sometimes she doubted herself, making all those difficult decisions. But quite often she didn't make them alone, you know? Like we've, found out, she quite often took your counsel, whether you're aware of it or not. But she relied on others just as much as we rely on each other as well, even though we kind of put her up on this pedestal of the almighty Malin. But I think she doubted herself as well. She was human.
Not, but we talked a moment ago about lessons that she taught, and you just reminded me of one. Once upon a time, I had a project that I wanted to complete, something that I wanted to uncover from long ago. And so I got all the materials I thought I needed, and I sat down, and I got nowhere for a long time. And she asked me how it was going, and I said, it's not. And she said, you realize nothing big happens with just one person. And I thank you all for being more than one person.
I have no red left to give, but I really want to give that red. I'm conscious of our time. So to bring the game to a close, we still have a bit of work to do. But I'm going to ask these. This is a bit more straightforward. This is how we end. We have lost. We determine who gets to resolve the aftermath. Our primary objective is to spread out the storytelling narrative. Choose the player who hasn't been chosen yet. So there's a few of us that are. Three of us have 3 Blackstones. So we'll see how it kind of works out. Whoever has the most Blackstones, tell us how the death of Malin played out. What happens immediately afterwards? Like, what happened? So we know Malin died, and we know that there's a new hearth, but in the interim between a new hearth being formed, and there's a tie, because does anybody? Oh yeah, everyone is.
I think it's a four-way tie.
It's a 4-way tie.
It's a 4-way tie.
But what we could do is we can come back to that one then. We'll skip it. Whoever has the most red stones. There's a tie there again. Nope. 4 or 5.
Nope,
5.
there's
Yeah.
not.
So this is this. Oh, this is weird. This feels weirdly fitting. Whoever has
Okay.
the most red stones tells us who gains the new hearth position. So obviously that we know it's Thranos. We know Thranos. But Desdemona gets to tell us something she's heard about Thranos or knows about him. This is something you can now add to. You're adding to the world here through Desdemona and Thranos.
Ooh, weird. So at this point, do we know that Thranos is the new hearth, or
Yes, yeah, because this is on day 18, so 18 days after Thranos has been elected.
I'm seeing how that can come up in conversation. So, at last, we've lost our dear Malin, but there's a new hearth, as there always needs to be, and within half an hour he nearly brought the whole guild down. But I do hear he has heart, even if a lot of it gets directed towards the dead as well. I've heard rumors that he speaks to ghosts, but that's neither here nor there. But I've seen him about. I think he cares a lot about the guild, a lot about the people within it. And I think he respected Malin a lot. I don't think he'll quite try to emulate what she did. I don't think anyone could, but I think in his own way he'll try and keep that fire burning for as long as he can. And with the likes of people like you, Charlotte, who doubt their abilities, I think he would be someone to try and shelter their flames and encourage their growth. But it's yet to be seen. He still needs to put a roof over everyone's heads. I'm not going to go in there to get my boots waterlogged.
So this is, we're kind of screwed because we're tied for a lot of this. So I think what we're gonna do is, and so thank you for that. That was lovely. What I think, so the 3 questions that are left, because my Aaron, you get to do some divilment.
Oh,
Whoever has the wait, that's me. I get to do divilment. I have the least red stones. I can't count no red. I was like, I get to do divilment. Okay, so whoever has the least red stones, tell us what becomes of the Empress, or in this case, Malin's family. Following Desdemona, Dullin kind of leans in, a little wary of this, and he kind of urges the 3 of you to get closer. Have any of you heard from Althea?
No.
Not from her directly, but I've heard rumors of her and that she's not doing well.
Well, we all know he's so paranoid at this point. That sort of demeanor, that showy confidence gone as he speaks about Althea. We all know she's involved in Mantry's steal. Much to Malin's upset.
Yes, that's, I think,
Well,
known enough.
I think the group aren't exactly, and he kind of looks to Tilo, as you said, they've had their fair share of knocks recently, particularly Althea's chapter. I've heard she's putting a team together to go to the Royal Vaults.
That is the rumor I've heard as well.
I haven't, except for that one entrance that's been posted, I have no sign of anything else. Do you think they've found something new? Or are they just chasing the bounty that's already there?
I don't know. I thought that bounty was kind of open to any group of half-wits that wanted to venture in there.
The rumor is she's looking for something else. It's not just what the bounty. There's something else in there that she wants.
And what do you think it is?
I haven't found it yet, but I've been working on it.
Aaron, have you been reading my notes?
No. I assumed we were going this way.
Okay, so we have two questions left. We've answered who tell us what we know about the new hearth. We've answered what became of her family. So Kate and Aaron, you can decide between yourselves who wants to tell us about the immediate aftermath of Malin's death. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily be guilt. You can talk about kind of events. You could shift the narrative. Maybe someone took advantage. Maybe something came out of the woodwork. But what immediately happened following the announcement of Malin Rowe's death? And the other one is, the other one's kind of juicy. What now? We'll tweak it for the game. But what impact has Malin's legacy had on the guild?
All right, I'm going to kick the first to you first, and then I'll agree or disagree as needed.
Okay, so what's happened in the aftermath of...
What happened in the aftermath of her death?
I suppose from my own perspective, chaos. There was so much chaos around who the next hearth would be. There was no one in charge, and the people looked towards for their guidance was gone. And I think there was a rise, I could tell, in vandalism. There was a rise in crime. There was a rise in people taking advantage of the void that was there. Not necessarily within the guild itself, but elsewhere, knowing the guild had not fallen, but was struggling internally with their own...
It was, I have to say, I heard people argue against electing a new hearth immediately. But doing so was one of the smartest choices she ever made. Without that power position filled, even though she exercised that power softly, without that power position filled, I think there was real danger of Vantries making advances into guild territory.
I think that might have been the way forward. I think that's what they were looking for. Maybe there was plans afoot that are no longer afoot because of how the guild have come back together and elected a hearth. That some things were not played out.
For the better.
It still took several days. Do you think that was time enough for them to sow some seeds? I don't see why. I would have maybe expected Malin to pass the scepter herself, someone of her choosing, but
It's an interesting
here we are.
question. I wonder why she decided to die in office. But
I don't think anyone decides to die in
well,
office.
she didn't decide to retire.
No, and I guess we'll never quite know what happened.
Never know.
So, do we all believe strongly that she would have elected a hearth herself if she could? And maybe is there a document somewhere inside the guild that says who she would have elected?
That I would pay teeth to find.
And has someone hidden it from the rest?
I guess in all the chaos of the guild nearly falling apart around them all, that if someone were to come across something like that, it could have been easily swept away. But I think everything kind of came quite suddenly. Whether or not she had time to prepare for who her heir would be, I don't know.
If we know anything about Malin, she was always prepared.
She was always prepared, and there were wishes recorded, but they might have been substitutes.
And what would happen if a document of such information would come to light?
I'll let you know when I find it.
Ooh. Would you go and personally remove Threnos from office yourself?
I am the frail, but I don't know what I'd do with it.
The poor boy's really warmed the seat.
Contemplate. Well, maybe that would be the best time to oust him, but I have no grounds on which to do so. But if they exist, I'll find them, and the guild will know. The truth will out.
Maybe we should reconvene.
That might be an excellent idea.
I think that answers those last two questions rather terrifyingly. Rather brilliantly, rather. Well, both actually terrifying and brilliant. But we're not.
I know, I'm terrified.
We've one last thing to do. We have
Get
to
drunk
finish.
at the tavern.
No, to get drunk at the tavern. We have to finish each other's stories.
Oh.
Oh dear.
And because we've all had a chance to answer each question, we pick somebody around the table, not ourselves. We pick somebody around the table and they tell us about somebody else. So
This is very confusing.
so basically, Charlotte, you pick somebody else to tell us what happens to them.
Okay.
What becomes of their character. So the other person's character. Yeah.
Okay, somebody else go first.
I suppose I can try
Yeah,
and see if we can. So Desdemona continues her work as a seamstress for the guild, but also has very good success outside the guild and has started a new hat trend.
Oh, thank you. It's about time. I've been wearing this hat for 40 years.
And it's has also designed this new the new Emberlight logo that they all wear in the guild, and has started to sew patches to show support and solidarity. Is that
My husband is going to be furious.
It's fine. She's just making Emberlight merch.
Knock off counterfeit Emberlight merch.
It's not counterfeit. It's couture.
Couture fit.
Okay, so I'm going to try, and I am about to embarrass us both terribly, but Mr. Shield, I apologize. I didn't get your name.
Tilo.
Tilo, hi, I'm Kate. Would you please tell what happens to Dullahan? Is that right?
No. So Aaron just told us what happened to Desdemona. So you, Kate, if you want to tell us what happens to Dullahan, so you just pick somebody else at the table and you tell us what happens to that person.
All right. Dullahan can hardly resist himself with the new entry to the vault, but he knows better this time around. Instead of entering himself and putting himself and others in danger, he finds himself a different route, and in fact sells advice to unaffiliated adventuring types, and very often his advice is, please speak to the guild. But they pay him for it, so it's all right.
I love that. Okay. I'm gonna do, and I'm so sorry. I love how well Kate's apologized. I've apologized. Aaron didn't apologize because he didn't have to. That was a lovely thing for Desdemona. But I'm gonna tell us what happens to Tilo. A couple of days after Malin's birthday, when we've gathered, despite his age, despite the weather, word reached Tilo of a small farm on the edge of Dunsbarrow, a village south of the Varan city walls. A quiet space, out of the way and unsuspecting and often untraveled. And people out there tend to fend for themselves. But hearing plight of a farmer who had lost quite a large amount of his cattle, Milo set out to track and return the animals. The journey led him deeper into the woods than he had anticipated. And by the time he had realized he was following tracks that weren't there anymore, he became turned around. For the first time in his whole life, he lost his way. And Tilo fell victim to the twisting roads and forests and has become lost to the lasting dark. And that leaves Soph.
That was the Declan special there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're all being too bloody nice.
Not everyone has to die.
Yeah, just one person.
There has to be a sacrifice per screen.
And I didn't say dead. I said lost. Lost.
That's worse. I think after hearing the stories of actually how much Malin valued Charlotte's wisdom, insight, and intellect, I think to try and honor Malin, Charlotte kind of takes that encouragement and message on board and tries to find a little bit more confidence in herself and her abilities. I think also hearing about the rumors about Mantry Steel going into the vaults and how terrible that would be and kind of what is it they're after, she would use her kind of scholarly abilities to try and find out as much about the vaults as possible in order to aid the guild. Just when rumors start popping up that the guild might venture in there themselves, I think she would spend more time at the guild, trying to help with the archives, try to help with Orwine, and just put the guild in like the best sort of position they can be to venture into these lesser walked, dangerous spaces, and kind of provide her counsel and her opinion and let her voice be heard as not just on paper.
Thank you so much to Aaron, Soph, and Kate. It was a pleasure getting to know a lot more about Malin than I had ever thought, really. Before we sign off, thank you to everybody in chat for joining us this evening. I'm kind of falling in love with the quiet between. It's just simple storytelling and much quieter moments. But I do want to tell, well, Aaron, Soph, and Kate, but anybody else watching as well, and if there's any Emberlight Guild players or Emberlight Saga players watching along, tonight's session has had real world impact, and both in terms of the stability of the kingdom, trust in the guild, but also knowledge about the vaults. The things you shared, the things that you co-created, have changed the world. Both in the sense of this game, but also in how I see it too. So thank you so much for helping to tell a story about what we have lost.
Thank you for letting us partake in that.
Thanks, Declan. This has been awesome.
I'm Declan. I've been your game master. I've had an easy night. I haven't had to do much tonight. This is great. I'm going to do more of this. Emberlight Guild is taking a very different direction next Monday. I'm not going to do anything. We're back. So we were supposed to be doing random DMs tomorrow, but we've had to do a reschedule. So we won't be around tomorrow night. But there is a brand new episode of Romancing the Dungeon dropping on Friday. I strongly encourage you to check it out. It is we are returning to the Dragon's Back Mountains and the gang on their quest to find Fia. It's a doozy of an episode, but I promise the one that's out 2 weeks after that is actually way lighter and funnier and stupid. I don't know why we're coming back to such drama. I actually had to. It's Ben's fault. But there's a brand new episode of Romancing the Dungeon out on Friday, and it drops on all major podcast platforms. We're also back with the Emberlight Saga on Monday. We are returning to Little Brother Lake for the 3 adventurers that went out. The 3 adventurers who brought 5 horses.
So scary.
That's all we have time for this evening. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry, my computer's being a bit weird, so I won't be able. I think there is a way to raid, but I don't know how to use OBS Twitch stuff, so I won't do a raid this evening. If you haven't, you can always find us on social media at D8 Dungeon. Why not pop over to our Discord server where all these lovely people are hanging out. It's where we also go looking for people to partake in future games, one-shots, charity streams, so on and so forth. Until then, until we see you again, mind yourself, have a lovely weekend, and it's Wednesday. Have a lovely. Sorry, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm on some holidays. Leave me alone. Every day is a weekend until August, and then the anxiety returns.
Yay!
Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.